Wesseling, Marco. 3. Deutera added by Scaliger. 3. So Becker, Canaan. 4. Epitrepsantes A. 1. L. Marcius Philippus and Sex. Julius Caesar were the consuls of 91-8 CE. The unamended text of Photius gives the date as the 170th Olympiad. Corfinium was the chief city of the Paeligni, CP. Strabo 5. 2. p. 241. This may refer to an inner council or simply to the consuls and generals, praetors. On the debated question of the League's organization, see T. Frank, C.J., 14, 1918, 1918, 547 f. And R. Pos in Calm. Ankh, Hist. 9, 186 f. Tidmos, Vos. 2. Uppertaxon Herwarden. 3. Kai Uk A. 1. From other sources, it would appear that his name was properly C. Papius Mutilus. 2. The name Circola, or Cercoli, is unknown, but must refer to some natural boundary between the Marsic and Samnite territory. Other sources give the name as Italica. 4. The consuls for 89 8.6. Ken. Pompeius Strabo, father of Pompey the Great, and L. Porcius Cato. L. Cornelius Sulla, the future dictator, won election as consul for the following year on the strength of his victory. He had been legate in 90 BC as well. 5. Appian BC. 1. 52 calls C. Cosconius Strategos, but Broughton lists him as a legate rather than praetor in 89 BCE. Magistrates 2. 36. Murian A. 2a omits Osen. Mom. Emilius Lepidus. Livy, Pia. 76 credits him with the defeat and death of Pompedius Silo, which Appian, BCE. 1. 53 ascribes to Metellus, under whom Mamercus may have served as legate. 2. Key Cassicilius Metellus Pius, possibly praetor in 88 BCE. Broughton, Magistrates, Supple, p. 11. 3. This appeal for help to Mithridates is mentioned also by Posidonius Ap. Athenaeus, 5. 213 C. Jacobi, Far, No. 87, Frere. 36, p. 246. 9 f. 0 after Endoxon deleted by Krebs. 2. Lamponius Wesseling. If the proper form of the name is Cleptius, so 1 Miss below chap, 2, 13, he may be identical with the Cleptius whose Lucanian troops served under Lucullus in the Second Servile War, Book 36, 8-1. The Photius has here apparently condensed and obscured the story. Julius Caesar Strabo, though he had not yet held the office of praetor, attempted to stand for the consulship, possibly, as suggested here, with an eye to the Eastern Command, and was prevented by the tribune of 88 C. P. Sulpicius Rufus, the political ally of Marius. R. L. Cornelius Sulla, consul, in 88 BCE, possibly a mistake for Lamponius, above, chap. 2, 11, Cleptios Biwkp, Book 86. 8.1. 53 Pontius Wesseling. Asia's set. Titius Wesseling. 4. So Wesseling, or Bards. 1 Wesseling suggests that the name Pompeius may be corrupt and that the man intended is Pontius Telesinus, a Samnite chieftain who reappears with Lamponius in 82 BCE as the leader of an unsubdued remnant of the Italian rebels, Appian, BBC. 1. 90 Velleius Paterculus. 2. 27. 2 probably Tisha in Bruttium is meant. Norbanus, the Miss, give the name as Urbanus, was governor of Sicily in 88 and 87 BCE. Cicero ver. 5. 8, who is, however, hostile to Norbanus. In this hasty condensation, Photius may here be referring to C. Marius the Younger, consul of 82-8 CE. Keep. Below, books 38-9. 15. 5. From this point on, the Constantinian fragments provide, in a fuller and more authentic form, some parts of the narrative briefly condensed by Photius in chap. 2, thus chap. 3 corresponds to the final sentence of chap. 2, 1. Chapters 48 form a digression on the theme of old-fashioned virtue in high places, and the narrative proper resumes with chap. 10, 1G ex-wife strand, Kai P2, Kata Kai Kata Valesius, Vulgate. The verbal similarities, CP Book 31, 26, 7, show that Diodorus is here referring specifically to the period following the Third Macedonian War. PCUS Otis we 8, Paraskewas Omenoi, Egagon Walton, Paraskewas Omena, Owl Paraskewas Omena, Egagan P, so Salmasius, Valesius, Tarixian P2, so Valesius, Enimorpheus P3 su Wesseling, Ake P4 ton, added by Valesius, 5 T added by Dindorf. For a similar list of costly luxuries and for Cato's remark, given below, see Book 31, 24, and Polybius 31. 25, Ek, 161 BCE, 5N, added by Dindorf. I so may with D, 4D, corrected by Dindorf. D, Popias VR2, added by Wifestrand. E, Apotropontai. A, she. Kakian Dindorf, Apotropontai, tes apo tes kakias v, D, somai, ris v, Izul, Z, Ease, so Dindorf, Zoos, V, Mames, Hair, Werden. So Dindorf, Oregontai V. So Dindorf, Auto P, 2 Demotionai Dindor. 3 So Dindorf, Kata Dicazontas, P. Dicazontas Res. 4 So Dindorf, and Rodoman Latinus, Lucios P. Cointos Wesseling, Dindor. 5 So be it no wobst, Prostation P1Q, Mucius Scavola, as proconsul in Asia in 97 BCE, earned the reputation of a model governor and was honored by the province with a Pentateuch festival. His legate was P, not Q, Rutilius Rufus, later condemned for extortion by the knights in a flagrant miscarriage of justice. Rutilius was the author of a Latin autobiography and of a Roman history written in Greek and cited by Posidonius, Jacobi, Os, 87, N27, N27, and by later historians K.P. G. L. Endrick wet CP 28, 1933, 153,175. As amended by Dindorf, the text would read, for the previous tax collectors in Asia, being in partnership with the men who sat, etc. So, Valesius, Upagestai R. 2 rods added by Thayer. 1. Since this is a separate fragment, introduced by Oti, it is not certain that it too refers to Scavola, since chap. 6 seems clearly to refer to Scavola, as recognized by Dindorf himself. It belongs here rather than after chap. 5. For the honours accorded him, the Muciea, see Orientis Gracie Insk, Cell, 437,439, so Feder, D5. Dindorf deletes D, 2 Chi, added by Feder Müller. 8 so Feder, Miller, Korn S, 4 I Diven Feder, Dindor. 5 D Orc Wifstrand, D Tes V. 10 Sentius was propraetor in Macedonia for a number of years, apparently 9,387 BC, since his old-fashioned virtues won the praise of Cicero, ver. Re 217, and Varro ap Prini v. Ser 14, 96. Dindorf is probably right in assigning this puzzling fragment to the section on model governors. The name Cotes is of frequent occurrence among the Thracian chieftains, but Execestus and his son Euphanes are otherwise unknown. Or he is called Silius below, on the strength of the association with C. Sempronius Longus. He is probably to be identified as L. Sempronius Aselio, whose governorship may be assigned to all. 96.5.0 T. Broughton Magistrates 2. 10. Note 3. So Worm, Diepherin P. Diepher Wesseling, after Rodoman Latinus, 2 Kai T Salmasius. Valesius. Catar R. Kai after Philotechnon, deleted by Salmasius, Dindorf. 4 O. Added by Salmasius, Valesius. 5 So Madvig, Bio Otakon P. Lacuna, indicated by Walton. 3 Diaremenon Diarenos Dindorf, Kata Tes. Diamenos Herwerden Dialepse. 3 Ripheus Herwerden, added by Dindorf. All 5 So Salmasius Valesius, Agapomen P6, So Krebs, DP, 1 literally from the flank of the senatorials. This interesting passage seems unfortunately to be hopelessly corrupt, and the statement of C. Gracchus cannot be exactly recovered. Probably a present participle is missing after dilipso. Somewhat similar remarks are attributed to him in books 34-5, 27, and in Appian BC. 1, 22, Ep. Also Cicero, de Leg. 3, 20, Appian's statement, Gracchus remarked that he had broken the power of the Senate once for all, is perhaps closest in general purport. The passage is relevant here as a parallel to the attempted reforms of Drusus. 2, possibly, to provide an oracular significance for his words, Xiphos was given the sense of ius gladii, as in Philostratus, vita Apol. 4, 42, Gaius' death did not, in fact, come by the sword of justice. 3, the tribune of 91 SEC, his father tribune in 122 BCE, was the famous rival of C. Gracchus. 4, Keep P. Cicero, Pro Malone, 16, Nobilissimus Vir, Senatus propugnator atque ati patinus, so mai, tropon vi tu ophortum mai, uphortum vi, et so mai, ton vi for so mai, eiton vi, orton vi, eight so me, orton vi 5 Zorcos filia. 1, presumably the leaders of the senatorial opposition. 2, this law would have wrested the courts from complete equestrian control and contained a special clause making the knights liable to prosecution for judicial bribery. This oath of the Italians to Drusus, long considered of dubious historical value and authenticity, has latterly been defended. For recent discussions, see L. R. Taylor, Party Politics in the Age of Caesar, 1949, 46, and Contra, H. J. Rose, Harvard. Thiel, Reverend 30, 1937, 165,181. The marginal note in the manuscript identifying this as the oath of Philippus is clearly in error. 4, i.e., sol indiges. So mai, beyond v, 2 so Herwerden, faces thy v, 8 so Dindorf, or iv perhaps Oswa. 4 so v, Dindorf, Romaean Dindorf, Boissevain. 5 so v, sic Clare, Boissevain, mai red agonizomenon, omenon Dindorf. Perhaps agonactantes are Sonian or Sanian v, 1, or perhaps the demigods and heroes who founded Rome and increased her power, 214 intended to represent Dios in digits, octas imperii conditor ec, conditos quic cp. H. Wagen vor, Roman dynamism, 1947, 90 f. 2, probably the Romans in the audience, so Krebs. As so often the opening sentence shows the clumsy hand of the excerptor, we must assume that the Romans present, though numerous, were a minority in the audience. Of the setting we can say only that the story is laid in Picenum and reflects the hostility of the Italian allies to Rome on the eve of the social war. It is tempting, however, to go further and localize the scene at Asculum, on the assumption that the festival is that at which the Roman praetor Servilius and his legate Fonteius were assassinated and the Romans in the city massacred. Appian, B.C. 1, 38 and below, end of chap. 13. Kai Cath, Opoion Walton, Kai Po. An, 8. Aki, V. Kai Poion Becker, Kai Poion Tu Herwerden, Kai Passan, or Opoion, Dindorf. So Herwerden, Eplerato v. Exuto Dindorf. The name appears in the M's, as Pompeius. 3 Omoios umen Herwerden. 4 So Mai, Fesasai v. 5 Diacusen Dindorf. 6 So Valesius. Pompeius P. So Salmasius, Valesius, Auto R. 2. So Valesius, Pompeii P. 3. Phobon Megales Herwerden. As the praenomen Gaius seems not to have been in use in the family of the Domitii, we should probably correct Tineius. The man named here may be Can. Domitius Ahenobarbus, the consul of 96 BC 2. Pompedius Silo was on friendly terms with Drusus, and on one occasion had visited at his house Plutarch Cato Minor 2. 3q. Servilius sent as praetor to Asculum in 91 BC. See note on chap. 12 above. Ep Allelui, puras e poi sans, v Stratagon Dindor. 1c. Marius served in 95.6 as a legate under Rutilius Lupus, the consul until the latter's death, and was then given command of part and later of the whole of the consular army. The present story does not appear elsewhere, and in fact, Plutarch, Marius, 33, reports a hostile exchange of taunts between Marius and Pompedius. They're called Publius Silo, probably a mistake for Quintus Silo. R. Gardner in Cam. Ank, Ang, Heist. 9. 192, Note 2, comments on the geographical error in our text, as Marius fought in Marsic, not Samnite territory, but the error, being in the opening sentence, is probably to be ascribed to the excerptor, not to Diodorus. 2. Dindorf amends to reader commanders. As onoma men Salmasius, Valesius, omen p onoma biitna wops. 2. So Valesius, Paul's p3, lacuna indicated by Dindorf. Boissevain suggests Ayap exile, or that the sentence forms a separate fragment. 4. So Dindorf, Rumean v. 1. Valesius and others have interpreted Summacon Phonus as referring to the crimes of Agamemnon. Murders of Roman 9 allies. Osius 5, 18, 10, identifies Agamemnon as a pirate. Cilicia was a notorious base for piracy. 2. It is uncertain to whom this refers, or even if the man is Roman or an Italian. 3. From the order of the fragments, this must be Lel. I. Julius Caesar, consul of 90 BC, rather than Sex. Lulius Caesar, consul in the preceding year. So Dindorf, Togzomenoi v. 2k2 Mai, Dindorf deletes Kai, Herwerden deletes Kai Pan, Arguria. 8. O Alos post, O Alos v. 6 Anthropos May, Dindorf. Herwerden proposes Aena, Boissevain, or Apatos, 4 Keriumami Herwerden, Dindorf. A Latin colony of 263-3 was an important road junction and was promptly attacked by the insurgents. Caesar and Sulla both attempted to relieve it, without success. 5 Apocorusans Krebs, Dindorf, Solesen v2, so Krebs, Alton v, so Krebs, Alton v2, so Krebs, Alton v. Pinna, a city of the Vestini, was racked by party strife, but remained loyal to Rome. Probably the Italians of the 2 succeeding paragraphs were therefore, in part at least, natives of Pinna, a fact that would help to explain their possession of the city's children.